Nothing is ever simple, is it? Well, not least with me anyway. So, as you've just seen in the title, I don't actually know 100% yet because obviously I'm filming before I've confirmed it fully, but I just thought I'd start filming anyway. The Mechatronics, the brand new Mechatronic, the brand new £1,800 Mechatronics from my RS3 seems to be defective. So you last left me in the last video where I could not do the basic setting on the new Mechatronics. It just wouldn't let me do it, kept kicking me out, aborted safety reasons, and I just thought that was because Vagcom didn't have a procedure for it for the OBH gearbox. So I just assumed that it would need to go to Otis. So it needs to go to a dealer level tool to be able to do it fully, properly. So the day after the video went live, I took it down to Audi. I used their Otis, I plugged it all in, did everything exactly the same, and I had the exact same, aborted for safety reasons, for the exact same reason as Vagcom had. Now, I didn't know whether there was component protection on this age of car, and it turns out there's not. So that wasn't the issue. So I did an SVM management update. So that was like a software version management basically. It basically checks to see if there's any software updates for the gearbox direct from Germany. There was no updates available. The coding was all absolutely fine as well. So there was no issues there. Now, the one good thing that Otis does is if there's a fault, it will bring you up a list of test plans to do to basically diagnose that fault. And this came up with I think it was a gear selector fault. It couldn't engage park or something like that, the Mechatronics. And Otis came up with check ATF fluid level. So that was the only thing it said. It said just check the fluid level. It obviously thinks there's something wrong. So I was like, well, the fluid level is definitely right. So I went on to measured values and I had a look at the gearbox oil pressure. Now that should be 25 bar, the oil pressure, and it was only reading 3. And the other measured value that was alarming was the current for the main valve. Now that should be about 800 milliamps, and that was only at 9. So there's our problem. The problem is the gearbox pump isn't working, and it looks like there's an electrical feed issue to the pump, so that's where our problem lies. Now, the other one was absolutely fine. The Mechatronics and the old Mechatronics was absolutely spot on. The issue was after half an hour or 25 minutes, once the gearbox got up to temperature, it would then fault. There was no pressure, there was no problem with oil pressure or anything like that. So there's nothing really you can do wrong fitting this. It's one electrical connection and that's it. So the new Mechatronics actually has most things built into it. So it's got the new oil pump built into it. It's got everything built into it. So there's nothing that you can do wrong. There's no other parts that can be faulty through this. You literally just plug in the one connector which has about 5 pins on it, which then the Mechatronics then does everything else. So obviously this is leading me to think that the new Mechatronics is faulty. Now, the route that I'd have to go down to then get that rectified is I'd have to book the car in with Audi, I'd have to take it to Audi, they would have to then do their diagnosis on it for warranty. They would have to go through their test plans, which would inevitably come up with the same problem I have. It would tell them to check the fluid level, they'd find the fluid level is fine, then they'll check the pressure, find the pressure is wrong, and then they would remove the Mechatronics, confirm it's faulty, and then put a new one in under warranty. So they would have to do all that. I wouldn't be able to strip it or anything like that. They would have to do that for their warranty audit purposes. Now, just before I go down that road and take it to Audi, what I'm going to do to confirm the fault is I'm going to put the old one back in. Now, once I put the old one back in and I've got oil pressure and it's doing the same as the old one did, and I'll then confirm that the fault is within the Mechatronics. So I'll take it back out, I'll put the new one back in again, and then if it's doing the same thing, low pressure, low amperage, I'll know 100% that it is the new Mechatronics at fault. Then I can book it in at Audi. So very frustratingly, I'm going to have to now do the job twice more. Honestly, I just can't get a break at the minute, can I? So there we go, look, there is my problem. Current oil pressure 3.4 bar, current of main pressure valve 9 milliamps. Now they should be at 25 bar and 800 milliamps. So the problem is the pump's not working in the gearbox properly and it's not putting pressure, oil pressure around the gearbox, which is why it can't find park, which is the fault code that I was getting, gear selector could not find park, and that is why I couldn't get it, because there's not enough pressure to do it. So, brilliant. Right, so fast forward an hour or two. I've actually put the old Mechatronics back in because this is the best way I'm going to confirm that the fault lies with the new one. And an interesting development. So let's just go up to Babcock. So here we have our measured values. So on the old one, everything was the same as that, apart from the current of the main pressure valve. Now, the new Mechatronics was at 9 milliamps and it stayed there no matter what. Engine running, engine off, engine revving, engine in drive, reverse, you name it, it stayed at 9 milliamps. Now, look at the old one. It's bouncing around 860 milliamps. Now, everything else is the same bar that current. So what I'm actually going to do now is, by the way, it also, when I put it into drive and reverse, it works as it did before, but I'm just going to do a basic setting on it and see what happens. It's running. The basic setting is running, look. With the old Mechatronics. Hasn't been aborted yet. Sorry about the unsteady hand. I've been pumping many litres of gearbox oil into the gearbox. My arms are very weak at the minute. You can hear it just adapting the clutches. Finished correctly. There we go. Finished bloody correctly. So there we go, guys. I have now just confirmed that my new Mechatronics is completely dud, worthless, useless, faulty. I'm not happy, as you can tell. So now the procedure is, the new Mechatronics obviously comes with a 2-year parts warranty from Audi. Now, I bought it only a few months ago. It's been sat in its box, haven't even opened it until the other day when I fitted it to the car. Now, for the procedure, for the warranty procedure, I'm now going to have to take the old one back out and I'm going to have to put the new one back in. I'll try and basic set it again. I'm sure I'm going to come up with the same problem I did before, and then at that point I'll have to give Audi a call, book it in, and I will have to take the car down to them, and they will then have to diagnose that the Mechatronics is faulty themselves, and then they can request a warranty claim and replace it with another new one. It's just, you just couldn't make it up, could you? I can't even buy brand new £1,800 parts that work. Right, so I've just refitted the new one again. I've just started the car, I've just gone neutral, reverse, drive, back to park, just so the oil circulates around the gearbox, and I've just got VCDS back up to do a basic setting, and yeah, 100% faulty. So there we go, look, 9 milliamps, and it will not deviate from that at all. The engine's running, so the old one, when the engine was off, it was at 11 milliamps, and then as soon as I started the engine, it went bang, straight up to 860. This one just stays at 9 no matter what. So I know it's not going to work, but we'll just do a basic setting anyway. And there we go, aborted safety reasons. So yeah, new one, absolutely duff. Thank you very much, Audi. So I've just got off the phone to Audi and it is now booked in for Monday. So what's that, 5 days, 6 days from now. It's booked in. They'll have to diagnose it themselves using Otis to do a proper test plan. And then guess what? The new Mechatronics is on back order as well. So they won't even, understandably, they won't order it until they've confirmed the faults themselves. Because when you order a back order part, you can't send it back. So they won't order the part till Monday afternoon, 10 days probably. So probably looking at 2 to 3 weeks until the RS3 gets repaired by Audi. So there we go. Yeah, a bit of an impromptu video. Obviously didn't plan to make this video, but I thought I'd just go through the process of what I've had to do to diagnose it. Ended up diagnosing it by process of elimination. So that is the process I used, and that is how I come to determine that the new one is faulty. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and on the next video I'll be getting the GTS Boxster in finally to start sorting that out. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.